Richard Flair is not ready to say goodbye to Ric Flair, and he won't be until after the 31st. And I am so proud of him. I am so proud of him.
He is one of the most prolific promoters, producers of professional wrestling content in the last few decades. Yes, he's heard this all before. Eric Bischoff is with us. A lot going on with him. A new book is on the way. And of course, you can check out his podcast, 83 Weeks, and get it ad-free at adfreeshows.com. We'll get into all of it. A lot of hot topics with a very controversial mind in the professional wrestling business. Eric, how you doing, man? You're so busy. It never slows down for you.
Well, I hope not. You know, that's a bad sign when things get really slow, when your phone doesn't ring, nobody sends you an email, nothing really going on. That's not a good thing. So I love being busy. Summer's really busy, and you know, a lot of wrestling stuff going on. Obviously, Starrcast, the book coming out, a lot of travel, but I got friends and family coming in out here in Wyoming to visit. So between all of that, yeah, it's been fun.
There you go. All right, so Starrcast, this is just a wild adventure that Conrad Thompson has gotten everyone on here. This will be the 5th one, very successful. And this is the first one to kind of be, I wouldn't say tethered, but jumping on a SummerSlam weekend. Usually it's associated with an AEW weekend. What do you think of that play here? What do you think of the business of that?
Look, I think part of it is coincidental. You know, part of it is by design. It just worked out. You know, Nashville's real close to Huntsville, where Conrad and his entire team are based. That makes it kind of easy. Jeff Jarrett's in Nashville. A lot of local connections and contacts help facilitate, everything that's going on. So it's just, everything was all aligned. I'm sure that I'm not sure, but I would imagine Conrad will probably, do other events in association with, or at least in proximity to AEW in the future. I don't think it's an either or. I just think it's a great opportunity, and it just happened to work out this way.
It's better for the fans. It's easier for the fans. You get to go and do a little bit of both and enjoy it all. What's the problem? No issue there with me.
Yeah, it's really like it's a safe place, right? Whether you're an AEW fan or a WWE fan, because there's going to be a lot of AEW talent there, performing. Main event with Ric Flair, so to speak, and a lot of others there. And there's going to be a lot of other independent wrestling there, as well as some WWE people. So hey, come on, man. I'm getting kind of woke. It's a safe place for all wrestling fans. Isn't that what the world of wrestling needs? A safe place where people beat the hell out of each other, but they're very politically correct in the process and not judgmental at all. That's a perfect wrestling world right now.
Thank you for the controversy, Eric. I didn't ask for it, but you gave it to me. I appreciate it.
Did you have any doubt?
So definitely it's going to be a wild weekend. You already brought it up. Part of the Starrcast weekend, it was moved from the Nashville Fairgrounds to the Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, is Ric Flair's last match. A lot of controversy with this, but a lot of excitement. A lot of big names associated with celebrities are already saying they're going to be in attendance. And also, it's Ric Flair's last match. It's a huge attraction here. How do you think this has come together? A unique way to promote it, and certainly under some very wild circumstances with the most prolific and one of the most well-known pro wrestling names calling it a career.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing has just been magic. From the inception, because you have two categories. You have basically 3 categories of fans, or people that watch wrestling and have an opinion about wrestling. The dirt sheet universe. Let's refer to it as that.
I'm in it.
No, I don't consider you in it. I don't. Maybe you are. I haven't read enough of your stuff or watched enough of your stuff, so I'm going to give you a pass.
I get some dirt on my fingernails, but I try to wash it off.
All right. Well, I'll check you out in detail, and maybe this will be the last interview we ever do. I don't know. But, there were 3 categories of people. You got the haters. People just love to hate because they love to get reaction on the internet because there's, emotionally stunted, psychologically damaged individuals. And that's the only way they get a stiffy is by participating in that kind of, dirt sheet universe gaga. And they're particularly haters because that's how you get response. And not only in wrestling, but in all forms of social media. Then you get the skeptics, not necessarily haters, but man, why is he doing this? Now, a lot of my friends were in that category, and I know my friends who respected Rick, or still do, are in that skeptic category. not because of any, need to get attention or anything else.
Just concern. Just concern.
73 years old. He almost died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have fans that are just supporters of Rick. And I think what we've all learned through the promotion of this thing and this amazing docuseries, cannot say enough great things about it, because so much of it is real. Rick talking about the journey, his last 10, 15 years of his life, his son, all of the things that he's, almost dying. And that's not an exaggeration. It's an exaggeration. It would have been an exaggeration to suggest that Rick even had a chance to survive what he was going through. But he kicked out. And I don't want to pretend I know Rick intimately, but I've known Rick a long time, and I know Rick fairly well. Richard Flair is not ready to say goodbye to Ric Flair, and he won't be until after the 31st. And I am so proud of him. I am so proud of him for getting himself in shape and doing all the work that needs to be done to get there physically and mentally, because that's going to be a big part of it for Rick. It's not just being in physical shape. It's going to be being in mental shape, emotional shape. That's the biggest thing. And Rick's a very emotional person. It's probably led to more of his ups and more of his downs than even his physical abilities. And being able to control those emotions and be able to go out there and perform at the highest level he's capable of, it's a challenge, and he's taking it on. As far as the work that Conrad has done in the docudrama, hey, you want some more controversy? If anybody from WWE and AEW would sit down and watch that documentary and break it down with somebody that actually knows how to construct a story, you might learn a few things, because that was one of the best stories I've seen promoting a single match in a long, long time. Maybe not on the same platform as WWE, obviously, or even AEW, obviously, but that story, that's not an angle, a story. And there's two different things. And I think that the way that docuseries came together with so much reality and believability and emotion and stakes, and now enter Jay Lethal and jealousy and envy and all of
family in this thing now.
It has all of the elements of classic storytelling, and that's what's missing in the product today across the board. It's not picking on anybody. So just sit down, relax, go back to sucking on a pacifier, watching cartoons, whatever it is you dirt sheet universe people do. But I think it's fantastic. All right, absolutely. I'm done giving you headlines, brother. I am.
Thank you so much. That's coming up July 31st on Fight TV pay-per-view. Ric Flair's last match. It'll be a part of Starrcast as well, and of course, all the events streaming with Starrcast. Get your information starrcast.com. Let's talk about this. The book, Grateful. This is your second book. You had a book you put out with WWE that was very successful in the mid-2000s. I read it. I loved it. It was an honest approach at different things in your career and your time in WCW, but there's been so much you've done in your career since. Tell me about Grateful. Tell me about working with Guy Evans on this book. He was successful writing a book that was related to your career and the ups and downs and things that he covered objectively of you, but now you're working with him on this book. What's it going to cover? What are people going to get from this book? And people can get it at bischoffbook.com. You can pre-order there now.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because when I was approached to write my first book when I was with WWE, my first reaction was, what have I got to say? I mean, in a book, I sit down and have a beer, tell you some stories and give you opinions or whatever, but a book? And it just didn't occur to me until I got into the process and then realized so many of the things that led up to my career and to the end of my career in WWE, because that's when my book came out. Controversy Creates Cash. I realized, wow, I forgot a lot of the things that I've been a part of and done. And it was really a learning experience. Now, fast forward to about a year ago, I get a call from Guy Evans, and I'll explain our connection here in a minute. I get a call from Guy Evans and said, "Hey, Eric, have you ever thought about doing another book?" Kind of like the same thing that happened to me the first time. And I went, same thing. Well, what have I got to say? And we started talking about that. And I realized, man, it's been, when Controversy Creates Cash came out, and that was the end of my WWE career, my wrestling career, and I was like so happy. Not happy that it was over, but I was so happy that I ended my career on what I consider to be the most positive note I could as a performer with intent. And at the WWE, which is the biggest stage on the planet, and I performed there. I think I did well. I got to work with some amazing people that I'd never worked with before. It was all good. And now I'm sailing off to go do some other stuff. Wrestling's in my rearview mirror, and I got a happy face about it. It's all good. And then, boom, I'm back in the wrestling business again. And it's like starting all over, 15 years. And this book covers a lot of the detail and things that I've never discussed even on the podcast in terms of the wrestling business and the things that I experienced and my observations on them in hindsight and at the time. But a lot of it, the majority of it, hence the title Grateful, is how in the last couple of years, really 4 or 5, I really have a different view on my time in the industry from 1987 to whenever. And I'm so much more grateful for it now than I ever was at any time while I was actually in the middle of it. It's taken me 4, 5, 6 years to realize just how much of a blessing, really, not only for me, but how much of a blessing it is for so many people to have experienced a lot of things that I was involved with then. And the book is really about, it starts off, I think, talking about one specific story, and I'm not going to give it away here. One specific story that made me realize, all the time I was doing it, it was just business. It was ego. It was pride. It was money. It was all of the things that we all do we all strive for, right? If you're honest with yourself, that is. I never thought about what I was doing while I was striving for money and success and pride and ego and stature and all the other stuff, celebrity, all those things. Yeah, that's what I was. I was in the entertainment business. That's what you go for. I never took time to realize how some of the things that I was doing and a part of really affected people in some of the most amazing ways that made me break down and cry when I heard them. And that's when I said, whoa, wait a minute. It's not all about just those other things, man. And now I'm so grateful for in a way that I can't really articulate, so grateful for my time in wrestling because of that realization.
I'm hooked. Pre-order the book, bischoffbook.com. You got me. There's stories. The curtain is pulled back. You always have this very expansive mind.